Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, with a card review, an oracle card review, and today I'm reviewing the Shaman's Oracle by John Matthews and Will Kingham, or Kingin. And I don't have the box, well, I do have the box, it's put away, I don't keep them in the box. So it came in a nice fair-sized box, and you get a book. And I do use the book, and I'm finding that, here it's starting to come undone a little bit. I won't say it's cheaply done though, because it is bound string-wise, so the cover is not doing well, but I think that it's bound well enough that it's not going to fall apart on me or anything. If anything, one of the things I can't say object, that is difficult for me with this deck is that I do have to rely on the guidebook to get the meanings that have been assigned to them, to the cards. And this seems to be coming from a particular teaching or shamanic journey work approach, so that if you've done that kind of thing, you will probably get the system of these cards more than somebody like me who has never done that and was just attracted to the art. and the idea of it, I think, is fantastic. I think it's really cool. And there is a really cool aspect to what they've done here, which I will tell you about, and I'll read you some of it. However, it's not proving, the way it's been done is not proving intuitive to me. And so, in other words, when I look at the cards, I don't see the meanings that have been assigned by the author and the artist. So that's a problem in terms of reading. There are 52 cards. 2 of them are supposed to be kind of like signifiers, the journeyer and the companion. So again, and that whole notion of the journeyer and the companion and keeping those out, kind of separate from the reading, is, again, it's a shamanic tradition or method for shamanic journeying that doesn't apply to the way I'm going to use the cards. I think because they're not terribly intuitive, like this is the Shaman of Loss, I'm not really seeing why that would be. They would be great altar cards. For those of you who do altar cards or daily draws for meditation, these would be cool cards for that. But I primarily use my Tarot, Oracle, Lenormand, everything for doing readings for other people and for doing more than one card reading, usually. I've never done, well, did I? The first time I may have done, oh, I think I drew some additional cards from another deck as well. So I don't think I've ever done a reading that is solely only like pulling 3 of these or pulling 5 of these cards. I use them like an oracle deck in the sense that I just use them to augment or provide extra information on a reading. And I need to do more of that. I do like them. And that, I don't use all oracle decks in that way. For instance, I'll do a full reading with a Vintage Wisdom deck. I'll do a full reading with an Enchanted Map oracle. I'm not comfortable doing that with these because there's a bit of a connection problem that I'll talk about. So let's look at the book and what it has to offer here. So, of course, they spend a little time talking. It says understanding the shaman's universe and things like that. And to me, this is more about mood than anything. It's a spread cave of ice, cave of winds, cave of hearth fires, cave of rivers. So I've never used that. I'm not getting into it. It does talk about the elements. They've got, you know, quote unquote suits. And they're assigning the cave is like the element, the earth, rivers, hearth fires, winds, ice, tribe, ancestors, hunters, dancers, shamans, spirits, and then an element here, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then the actual, I think this is the actual cards. Yeah. And what they have on the card is, for instance, they have shaman, shaman of loss. So you have shamans, you have ancestors, ancestors, hunters, dancers, shamans, and spirits. And so that's what you're going to see up here. Shaman is this card is a shaman. You'll have cards that are hunters, dancers, spirits, and ancestors. So worthwhile, but I'm not going to use it like this. And the artwork is inspired by cave drawings, but they have been altered. Okay, so it's only inspired by. Okay, so let's look. So here's two different cards, the Journeyer and the Companion. So what you have up here is a voice, or this is the card speaking directly to you. And then it has kind of a traditional explanation, and this of what I'm going to switch to another one because those are kind of exceptional cards. But again, you have the voice, kind of a traditional description like you would have with any oracle or tarot card, and then you have interpretations, just a bunch of keywords at the bottom. So for that first card that I had, actually I'll pull from the middle. Give me another one. All right, now we have the Shaman of Reflections. And so let me find the Shaman of Reflections. There it is. Okay, there it is. All right, so I'm going to read you the voice so that you have an understanding. And I use these cards sometimes in my daily love readings. So if you want to check those out, sometimes you'll see these in there, paired with the soul card. All right. I am the Shaman of Reflections. I offer you who calls upon me the opportunity to see beyond your mirror image and to recognize within yourself the truths that you may never have perceived. I challenge those who believe that there is only one pathway to follow. In the mystery of the mirror, I show each individual his or her true self. So I love their voices that they give. You know, you could even play and do it in a really dramatic. I am the Shaman of Reflections. Okay, you could do it in a really dramatic voice for fun. But I really like that. I like those voices. The rest of it, I just have almost no interest in terms of what's in the guidebook. But I love the voices. But I don't get that. That, to me, this isn't the Shaman of Reflections. To me, I mean, look at that. There's a spiral, like, in the heart chakra there. So, and the person is holding a snake. It's got, you know, it's got antenna, you know. To me, that's not quite an inward turning. That's almost outward glow, weirdness. I think it's a cool, spooky image. And it's got I like the shamans are represented by a medicine pouch, you know, and there's others. Let's see. The dancer is represented by a rattle over in the corner. You know, so it's got some cool things here. But look at this. Dancer of Joy. Now, that looks like somebody having sex to me. I'm not, joy maybe, I think, but I don't know. I think there's something else going on here. I think it's a little more raw than joy. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a flip through, because there's the ancestor. The ancestor has antlers. So some really cool conceptual things going on here, but parts of it just didn't. And they're fairly large. For me, overhand shuffle. Here's standard rider weight. Sits in the middle of it. Beefy cardstock, fairly stiff cardstock. You could shuffle this. A lot of people could shuffle this. The cards kind of have a natural bias to them already, a natural dip to them. So I'm a little leery of riffle shuffling, but you could do that. No meanings for reversals in the guidebook whatsoever, so that's not how they're intended. And the backing, I'm sorry, I'm neglecting the backing. The backing does not encourage reversals anyway. So let me show you the cards. I'll just flip through them. And so I love some of these images. This one's really weird, what the heck is that? And so they give it the spirit of truth. I'm not sure where they're coming from. Maybe some people will, this one's a little more literal. I'm not sure how they came up with some of the associations here. But I do love the images. And so what I'm thinking is that eventually, with all my time, right, I'm going to go through these and I'm going to invent my own stories. I think they really invite that, and I would recommend anybody to do that, to kind of take creative charge of these cards and create your own story. And whether or not you keep the voices that are in the guidebook, those cool shamanic voices there, shamanic guide voices, I might just have to sacrifice that, if you've got the memory to keep those, fine. But I really like to read intuitively, and so I don't like to constantly refer to a guidebook. And so for me to be really free with these cards, I'm going to have to come to terms with them in a different way. And for me, I'm thinking some kind of story behind each card. So I'll do my own shamanic storytelling for each card, which will be a bit of a task, because there's 50 cards, 52 cards if you include the journeyer and the companion. And some of them, it's like, how weird is that? Can you see that? There are these stick figures. Look at that. Isn't that cool? That's just cool. See, that makes sense to me. Hunter of abundance. That works. Although there's an aspect, I feel like, of prayer there somehow also. So cool cards. It's a deck that I love and feel connected to, but I'm not able to use as much as I would like to, because I'm going to have to really create my own relationship with each card that is completely outside of the guidebook that has been given. And thus, in the future, I can see trimming these cards, which I am not a card trimmer because it's just too much work. I don't know what else to say. I have to be really driven to trim a deck, to want to trim a deck. But this one has that in its future, on the assumption that I ever actually do get around to making friends with each and every one of these cards and creating my own story, my own myth around it. I'm not a channeler, but that's kind of what I'll end up having to do in order to get in touch with these primitive cave images and draw some mythic, shamanic stories out of them, so that when they come up, they have a particular meaning to me, and I don't have to resort to the guidebook. I'm also of an age and with disability due to Lyme disease that that memorizing is not going to happen. So it does have to be an intuitive story. I have to have a relationship with these. I'm not going to, if I can't understand why this is the dancer of lies, then I'm in trouble. I'm not going to be able to memorize the meanings in the book. That's not going to happen. Okay, so there's the Shaman's Oracle. Really cool. You may be able to use it in ways that I'm not, but really cool. So I wouldn't knock it. You know, if you're willing to give it a chance, give it a try, do your own thing with it, I would say grab up the Shaman's Oracle. Take care. Bye-bye.